So my name is King Cook Daily and we're in Shoreditch, East London, and this is my little restaurant. So I started Cook Daily in 2015 and we are at my new location, which has been here for almost a year now. And it's a small little takeaway. We're around 10 seats and we just do good vegan grub. So the menu of Cook Daily is based on flavors from around the world, but with a heavy influence from Southeast Asia, especially Laos and Thailand. When I was a young kid, just going to Thailand and seeing all the street food, I was just so inspired by it, you know. So I knew that moving forward in my career as a chef, I wanted to kind of like bring the element with like street food, plus all the fine dining and all the classical mixture that I've been learning, and just put all in one and present it into a bowl. Yeah, I grew up with cooks. My father was a cook. He was a head chef of a famous hotel back in the 70s. He would bring home cuts of meat all the time. So, you know, as a young child, I was exposed to different cuts of meat and just the quality of good hotel food. So I always had that advanced palate as a young child. And I didn't do too well at school. So my mum said to me, you know, you're good at cooking. Your dad's a cook. He's taught you a few things. Why don't you consider going to catering college? So back in 1999, what's that, 25 years ago, I enrolled in a catering college, spent 2 years there, and then from there, went straight to work. Started off in market stalls, pub kitchens. And then when I say pub kitchens, you have to understand, like, back in the day, let's say 25 years ago, a lot of Lao people in London were running the kitchen pubs, selling Thai food, you know. A lot of people didn't know about Lao food back then. So it was like the Lao people that were doing pub kitchens and, you know, selling Thai food. And a lot of them were my family members, my uncles, my dad's brothers, you know, and my father, obviously. So I grew up around pubs as a young child. Straight after school, my dad would take me all the way to West London to Putney Bridge, where he had their own little pub kitchen. I would do my homework there. I remember these days. And then slowly my dad would say, yo, King. Well, maybe not yo, but like, King, come and dish up some spring rolls. So I remember I used to do the sweet chili, pour the sweet chili, add a little garnish and put the spring rolls on the plate. That was my little job. And then after that, they would sell pat sa'il, which is basically Thai style rice noodles, the thick noodles, like whole fun noodles in Chinese. So my job was to kind of like peel these noodles also. So they were like strands. And I remember that as a kid, you know, these memories. So yeah, I've been through it all, man. From, like I said, pub kitchens, restaurants, market stalls, Michelin kitchens. I've worked in a 2-star, a 1-star. I've worked in Spain for a French chef. And I gave up meat in 2009. I transitioned to a vegetarian diet. And then in 2014, I went straight vegan. So the inspiration for me, you know, going meat-free and vegan, it was, to be honest with you, I burnt out, you know. You know, starting from cooking when you're 16 and jumping straight into work around 18 and not stopping for like a solid 10 years plus. I kind of like, that's the only thing I knew was kitchen. So I burnt out and I needed to kind of reset. So I started going to the London Buddhist Centre, which is around the corner here in Bethnal Green. Started meditating and just going back to my Buddhist roots. I mean, my parents would take me back to Laos every year, and my granddad was a head monk of a temple, so I always had that connection. But as a young adult, I just reconnected. So I spoke to the elders from the London Buddhist Centre, and you know, they just gave me knowledge about you know, being ethical, and they just told me about, you know, the first precept, which is you know, I abstain to take life, etc. And it kind of like made sense to me. So I stopped eating meat and went on a vegetarian diet, and that lasted 5 years until I made the transition to going full vegan, and I haven't looked back since. I just saw the benefits of just cutting out dairy and milk and eggs, and yeah, from there I just thought vegan diet works well with me. So here I am today. Yeah, my diners, my customers, my guests, it's a mixture, you know. It's people seem to think that it's mainly vegans, but to be honest with you, I would say 50-50. Yeah, I think what I try to do is just create good food for the people, for the local. I know London and I know what people like and the flavors of London. So when you can create that, it just speaks to people, you know, whether it being vegan or not, or plant-based or healthy or not. But yeah, I would say it's a mixture of a crowd my customers. Shoreditch, East London is the place to be, man. I mean, there's so many creative people around, you know, from film directors to artists, graffiti artists, musicians, you name it, tattoo artists. You know, it's all a big melting pot for creativity here, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. So my advice for other chefs that want to create more plant-based or vegan food, I would say just experiment more, man. I mean, you take a traditional Christmas dinner, you take away the turkey, the meat, the beef, and you're left with just veggies. So you have to get creative, you know? And that's what I learned when I transitioned. I was like, right, I don't have the turkey no more. I don't have the beef Wellington anymore. What am I gonna do? I had to get busy, you know, and think, how could I create just the sides, make the sides the main attraction? So it just gets you thinking more. It's like a restart, but it's fun, man. With the beef Wellington, I have my own version of mushroom Wellington, and it's just, you know, I would say like beef is quite savory, and mushrooms also savory, a good texture. If you cook it in a certain way, it can kind of replicate a meaty texture. So just with my experience and my palate, I can kind of like recreate these memories that I used to have with veggies. And yeah, I think the way I use veggies is like how I would cook meat. You know, back in the day I would sear the steak. These days I'm searing broccoli, you know, I'm charring it, getting an extra charness to add that smokiness to it. And that creates another flavor element to the dish. So things like that, you know, like if I was to use, let's say soya mince and make a bolognese, I would do it exactly the same way as I would with mincemeat, you know, from searing it and making sure that it's just slowly catching at the bottom, and then deglazing it with red wine and adding the rosemary and the thyme, and it's just kind of like, I don't think I would have that experience if I didn't work with meat in the past. So carrying it on, I'm grateful for this, you know, for this skill. Yeah, London town is I'm blessed to be here, especially in East London. I have no problem with getting exotic ingredients, to be honest with you, all year round. So Asian markets, South Asian, East Asian, Southeast Asian markets, I have it all. African, Caribbean, you know, we use a lot of plantains here. So my go-to is the African Caribbean shops, and all of my Southeast Asian flavors. Obviously I go there, and then you've got the great British produce as well. So we're blessed in London. I have no problem of getting anything all year round. So what excites me about cooking is going back to cooking, to be honest with you. When I first opened Cook Daily in 2015, I was cooking behind the stove, and then we grew and grew, got more popular. I kind of took a step back, and then coming back now, I've been here a year, I'm in the kitchen every single day, cooking every single dish. I've just fallen, back in love with cooking, and I realized that sometimes we kind of need to stay in contact and be on the line to kind of, just reconnect with that. So my time away from the kitchen, just running things behind the scene, it was great, but there was something missing, and that was that passion that I kind of lost along the way. So honestly, going back to the kitchen, I've found that passion again, you know what I mean? With me cooking my dishes, my bowls, I know that it's healthy. Like, I wouldn't feed my customers nothing that I wouldn't give to my children, you know what I'm trying to say? So obviously we're not junk food, we're not fast food. I would say we're like street food with a restaurant touch, you know what I'm trying to say? Even though it's a takeaway, but lunchtimes you'll see the whole little takeaway spot is packed. People are asking us, like, do we have toilet facilities? I said, no, it's just a takeaway, but we want to put seats because we want people to enjoy the food when it's nice and piping hot. Obviously, people do take takeaway. I do deliveries, but my main customers come and just enjoy the food in our setting, I've done everything here, from the floors to, I've designed everything, and we've always done it like that way. Yeah, so, with it being such a small space in here, I just knew that coming back and opening in a prime location like Shoreditch, I just needed to bring that vibe again that I had before, that flavor. So it's the same that I've always done, It first started off with, not having a lot of money, doing things on a budget, handwritten menus, splashes with paint everywhere. I mean, I grew up doing graffiti, so it was just normal for me to juice up my marker and write my menus and use my leftover colors and just, decorate the shop. But it's become almost like a trademark now. So yeah, everything that's designed here is just by myself, and it's just having the ideas to kind of like bring color to the city, and especially with my graffiti background, everything's always handwritten. Yeah, I wish I could still handwrite the tickets that come to the kitchen, but yeah, we use a printer now. The style of my food is colorful. You know, you have your yoga fire. I name it the yoga fire. It's based on a Street Fighter character called Dal Sim, and on the menu description it says with dal simmered in golden coconut milk. So that's like my take on the Street Fighter character, but also paying homage to the Indian yellow curry. So it has dal, chickpeas, sweet potatoes, finish off with raita, fresh yogurt, and some crunchy sev. That's like our Indian style curry in a bowl. And then you have your infamous curry, which is a Thai green curry from Thailand now. And that's like vibrant green. Normally green curry is not that green. But what we do here, I took my experience from making green smoothies. You know, when I first went vegan, I was just doing green smoothies all the time. Banana, water, spinach. So I'm thinking, wow, this is so nice and vibrant. If I could add that into a green curry. So now what I do when I make the green curry, we add loads of spinach and blend the spinach with the coconut milk. And then we sieve it, so now you get like a nice green coconut milk. So our green curry is nice and vibrant. So these are colors, you know, colors that speak to me, whether it be through graffiti, spray paint, or food. It needs to kind of represent, and especially us being a heavy vegetable restaurant. Yeah, it's just, you know, you got your broccolis, your peppers, yellow, greens, oranges, and not just colors, but also vitamins, right? Like your B carotene, your vitamin D from your greens. It's all in one. So I'm just happy to feed healthy food and also make it look pretty, as you should. So this restaurant is just about good vegan grub, the chef crafted by myself, and it's made with love. And I know a lot of people say that, but when you're cooking every single dish, it's love, man.